ideologies who have dogmatic religious views reached the earth and became our religions. They represented the climax of separation from oneself. God's channels, prophets, and mediums received their messages from the God-created and separated dimensions. Most often, the pure messages were mixed with information from the astral worlds and their own ego. There are as many truths and religions as there are worlds and heavens of polarities and levels of development in the cosmos in their different dimensions. Every social structure which serves the power of the lobbies and the ego instead of mankind is a split, which in the end will restructure itself or crumble. All knowledge without love is a separation from being. Whilst the old program of the Dark Age runs out with the old Lightworkers, the Illuminati, and their plans of a world dictatorship controlling the world of finance, it will disintegrate with the changes on Earth. The new incarnated Lightworkers of the Galactic Confederation are already leading mankind into the new Golden Age. After the great transformation of mankind, the Space Brothers would like to welcome us as cosmic citizens into the Galactic Confederation of Free Planets.
Where do the Illuminati receive their knowledge? Well, I would use the famous jokes and stories about Tesla and Edison. According to Edison, invention was 95% perspiration and 5% inspiration. According to Tesla, the way Tesla was doing his inventions, he would have 95% inspiration and probably 5% perspiration. Tesla would get the vision. All he has to do is put the vision into paper. Then he has to take the paper to the engineers to put it into metal in the shop. A little fine-tuning here and there, and the device works. This is the usual mode through which information and know-how is channeled from the extraterrestrial and even higher levels of existence to our planet. The know-how is given, and we are left to put it into our crude terrestrial engineering and manufacturing methods. That's why the crude anti-gravity saucers of the 1880s, 1890s were made with rivets. Giant cannons were used to fire the first anti-gravity devices toward the moon. Later on, in the early 1900s, more advanced technologies were used, but always the technology would follow up with our terrestrial one. Why are there two totally different scientific and engineering realities on the planet? Why the mass consumption engineering culture is 50 to 100 years behind the secret culture developed by the Illuminati? I have always had this very big question, very big puzzle in front of me. This is the Promethean dilemma for me. How come that with these incredibly good intentions to elevate the scientific and technological level of our civilization, we end up with the very negative and dismal results of all of these efforts? My feeling is that basically that is the major mode through which the, should I call it the independent angelic presence on the planet, is trying to corrupt the scientific and the political minds of the elite of our planet with visions of grandeur, with technologies that are too far ahead, possibly for our spiritual and moral development, and that are very dangerous, that can explode any minute and basically bring the end of our civilization, as has happened for dozens of times on our same planet. Again, information coming to us from many extraterrestrial revelations about previous illuminated efforts to speed up the evolution on the planet that ended up in very brutal, violent nuclear wars. the Illuminati have an agenda that would probably not be accepted in a normal, open voting system by the majority of the population on the planet. The creation of a new master race with hybridization, experiments done with animals. The first hybrids were done in German concentration camps 50 years ago, and there are people that have seen documentary films about living, walking, breeding hybrids between humans and animals. Creation of a new master race under illuminated guidance, and probably away from a package of genetic material that was introduced on the planet through an intervention by the Trinity.
The dark, as well as the light power, serves only one master, who is the creator of all that is, and whose goal is to create the superhuman. The final goal of human reincarnation is to create a human being who has experienced all imaginable positive and negative experiences, and therefore is able to develop beyond any judgment into the humanly incarnated image of God. A human being who has become God has lived through the completed range of the cosmic keyboard from the lowest to the highest note. God does not judge. He shines on his creations like a sun, on the flowers or the weeds, or on his being. The experiment of duality has come to an end, and the planet Earth is an ascending planet, onto which the Creator himself incarnates in the shape of human beings. The return of the ascended brotherhood from Lemuria and Atlantis is the return of the 144,000 masters of light, the cosmic monads. They are incarnated as human beings, united, and together they will represent the white pyramid, God's eye, who sees everything, the presence of the Almighty on earth. They are the open witnesses who have all described from a different perspective the process of ascension, since they have already lived through it before.
We're moving from the little heart into a whole new state of beingness called the one heart. We moved from using the physical eyes, and as we awakened, then of course we activated our third eye, then those three eyes triangulated, and now we're discovering a whole new level of seeing, which is called the one eye. And it's an alignment with the all-seeing eye. Now on the planet itself, we're noticing a huge shift over as well. Duality is playing out its final dance. We're in the times of completion. So we'll notice that a great falling and dissolving, which you can see in all the world governments and all the established religions, in the treatment of the environment. It's one of those things, a good way of describing this time is saying it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. We're feeling that outgoing pull of duality, and we're feeling that huge, powerful wave of love of oneness coming in. Within the doorway of the 1111, there are 11 gates. These gates could be seen as frequency bands of energy. They are stepping up stations to higher levels of consciousness, very similar to locks in a canal. When you travel through a canal and you get to a lock, and then you stay in there while it fills up to water, and then it takes you and you travel on the next higher level. During the next, this 20-year period, the doorway of the 1111 is open. We are given the opportunity, each one on this planet who chooses oneness is given the opportunity to travel through these 11 different frequency bands of energy. This is also this unified presence we refer to as the bird star, us as one, the one that passes through the door. Now, this is the opportunity we've been waiting for eons for a mass ascension. How big it actually turns out to be depends on you, how many choose to make this journey. For those of us who are now anchoring our beings and living our lives in oneness, we're finding that we're living in a new world, that everything is different, that you see everything with totally different eyes. Nothing is the same as it was before. And it is only when a certain critical mass number of us around the planet leave duality behind and stop feeding that illusion of separation and start actually living our entire lives in oneness, that we can start fulfilling our higher purpose, the new level of our missions upon the earth, such as the establishment of islands of light, which many of us have had these long-standing yearnings to live in communities, highly calibrated beings living together in conscious oneness. Another thing that's going to be happening for those who are standing and living their lives in oneness are those true love relationships. These are not the old karmic relationships that we've all had our fill of on this planet, but these are those ones of true equality of two beings, not only working together as one being, but realizing that they are both derivations of one being and stepping into that vaster oneness.